And our new hero skin for the season is extremely selfish. Vortigern sends her, Commander Ravier, to infiltrate Arabia. And Commander Ravier is Vortigern's second in command. And as you see from the amazing concept art right here, she hides her face behind this terrifying mask, and nobody really knows what she looks like back there. There are rumors that she suffered some horrible disfigurement in the eruption of Mount Ignis, but nobody really knows for sure. Either way, that frightening reputation allows her to rise meteorically through the ranks of the priors. Vortigern quickly notices her cruelty in battle, approves of it, and promotes her. And now he's tasked her with this all-important mission in Arabia. And of course, for a long time in Arabia, they've been totally sealed off, not allowing in any sort of outsiders whatsoever. But after all the disasters that recently plagued Heathmoor in Year 5, new sea roads finally open up between the region and Arabia. And so Arabia's current Sultana takes pity on Heathmoor, establishes diplomatic ties, and allows the Blackfriars in, which is, of course, her first mistake. Because in her hubris, in Arabia's long-time prosperity, she believes she's basically untouchable, even though some advisors, her closest advisors, warn her that there's been omens in the celestial sphere of an approaching enemy. Nevertheless, she lets in Ravier and the Blackfriars, who pose as friendly diplomats. Because Ravier is, of course, not just a cold killer. She's also an incredibly shrewd Machiavellian figure, eloquent, and so she can expertly manipulate the Sultana into finally gaining access to the relic. And so she makes her way to Arabia's vast library where they house the relic. She peers inside it, and she sees a secret prophecy, a vision of the future. We don't know what Ravier sees, but at least not yet, we don't know what she sees. But the secret prophecy appears to be enough to give the priors the edge that they needed. And so, not wanting anyone else to know the secrets, Ravier smashes the sphere, slays the Sultana, and goes out of Arabia fighting with her Black Priors. And of course, this entire tale,
wow.
Pretty
wow.
crazy story. Yeah. And if that sounded crazy, we go into even more detail in the short story. It's told in 3 parts. It's called The Might of Misery, and it's written by our wonderful writer Ian Cardona. And yes, you learn more about Ravier, the aftermath of her mission. Perhaps you're even going to get some sneak peeks into what she saw in the sphere. And so, yeah, that's an overview of the skin in the season.
Thank you so much for going through that. But I do have one question. So the sphere can tell the future and it can see into the future. Would it be possible if the sphere actually foresaw its own demise, its own destruction, and if that's I don't know.
Well, the Sultana's advisors they would like to discuss that with you. They would probably agree that there's some bad omens coming.
My line is open. But yes, so we are doing a short story for the hero skin. The first part is actually going to be released today, so be on the lookout for that on our social media platforms. And then parts 2 and 3 will be available on December 16th. I love the short stories; they're phenomenal, and the skin just looks insane. So we were talking about the hero skin as we were talking about the what's coming with TU1. So we're gonna do a little bit more of a deeper dive into this hero skin and the artistic direction, because it is gorgeous. I love it. So Anastasia, what was it like for the team creating this skin and the inspiration that went behind crafting this brilliant piece of art?
So this season we are introducing you the new hero skin, which was made for the Black Prior. It's Commander Ravier. As Andre just told us, she only brings death and destruction wherever she goes, and we really wanted to emphasize these characteristics of hers. So she's dressed entirely in black, and her robe is very worn out. But if you look closer, you'll see that she is wearing a full armor suit. And this kind of tells us that she's pretty dangerous, and you don't want to mess up with her. We don't know who she is. She's hiding her identity. She's wearing this silver mask on her face. and her face, her neck, and her like everything is covered. And the only thing that we can see is this strand of the hair that come loose from under her hood. And actually, our players will be able to change the color of this hair, which is kind of awesome. Yeah, so she's dressed entirely in black. And according to this story, we meet her when she destroys this celestial sphere and burned the city. So to emphasize this story, we added this smoldering effect on her robe and on her armor as well. So the hardest thing was to keep everything like very simple. Don't use a lot of elements on her, but make her look very interesting at the same time. And I think our art director, Andrew, and our fantastic team, like concept artists, modelers, riggers, tech artists, and of course, our texture artist, Aiden, did an exceptional job for this character.
Absolutely. I love how like terrifying like she is, but just like having just like a bit of her hair like showing just adds like this like element of elegance to her that is just, it's phenomenal. And then when you add in this new effect that we have on this hero skin, Aiden, why don't you go ahead and talk to us about this new kind of like fire effect that we're adding to the skin to really help bring it to life even more?
Yeah, so thanks, Josh. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here. Want to share with you about some texture workflow in our production. So actually in our game, you can see we have a very huge materials library we create in Substance. They're very, very useful and especially for our texture work. So of course, for this hero skin, especially for this one, we still try to make it look some different and special compared to the previous one. This is what we always like to do. So for this time, the main jobs of the texture was on the cloth and metal. And so let's talk about the metal first. And so for the metal, it always very important materials for our in our game, especially for the knight characters. So we researched some references of the metal to figure out what is the better treatment for this hero skin. And our goal is making it look realistic with some damages and their darts, but also we need to make sure it looks not too low class. So as you can see, the replication on the metal looks a little more glossy and with some engraving patterns, but still have darts in the junction to make it look more contrast with clean area and dirty area. And so the second one is for the cloth. For the special hero skin, there are a lot of pieces with the cloth and the fabric. So we have a very nice cloth texture applied for her to fit our needs and our qualities. So the interesting thing is because we have new effect tools for this hero skin, so we added some burnt treatment on bottom of the cloth with a little orange color. You can see to similar with the fire and the burning effect. So besides the generic cloth, we still try to do a specific treatment for her, which is a little bit silky cloth in the center one. So you can see on the upper part on the chest and also on the lower part in front of the legs, so that we can see more widen and contrast with different fabric things. So, but actually we already did like this for Ravier. So we reuse the same one from it. It's because the intention is making it look cool and also make her look higher class. So the last very important update is the new effect tools. So I think you guys already noticed we have a new effect tool for this hero skin this time. So you might still remember we had special effects for every hero skin this year, such as flow effect for Ravier and moving panther for Viking and the animated eyes on the chest for the samurai. So for this special one, we have a burning effect on her cloth. So you can imagine she is walking in the library with the firing and it's keeping moving from the bottom. And also you can find on the armors and helmet. Even this time we made it on the weapons. So this is also the first time we added this type of the effect on the weapons. There are some similar visual effect keep moving on the blade and shield. That's a very big stuff. We spent much time and more steps on the technical side and also for the texture side, such as we create some new shader and use more maps channels to achieve it. So the goal is make it looks cool, interesting, and also bring the new things different from the other hero skin. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I'm sure you will find more interesting details, things from this hero skin when you play. So really hope you enjoy it.
Enjoy indeed. If the goal was to make a cool and interesting skin, you knocked it out of the park. Everyone who had a hand in the skin, it looks absolutely insane. It's my personal favorite. I like all of them. I don't even play Black Prior, but I will be now. We will be equipping that. So I'm very, very excited for that. And for those who are interested in getting the Commander Ravier skin, you can get it for 25k steel when it is available. It'll be available forever, so you don't have to, there's no like time limited anything. Just, you know, strike fear into the hearts of your enemies. But another thing that we want to talk about is the mood board. As you've noticed by our wonderful background here, we are bringing the Arabian goodness to For Honor this season, and this is so reflected in the mood board. So, Anastasia, let's go back to you and take us through what it was like for the team to, you know, find some real world elements to pull from for this.
Yeah. So just want to remind you that this year was the year of fantasy, and now it's final season, and it's the end of the real year, and also it's a holiday season. So we wanted to bring this kind of like festive mood to this season. And the main inspiration for this season was galaxies, Arabian motifs. This is what inspired our mood and the colors of this season. So the sky full of stars, the bloody moon, they bring this very unique visual content to this season compared to the previous one when we have all this like moody colors like fog, spider webs, and you remember, right?
Yeah. We're a lot less scary this time around, everybody.
Yeah. This time we wanted to do something magical, and it's perfect time, right? So also in this season we are introducing this new cultural theme like mathematics and astronomical tools and designs. We're using a lot of this astrology related designs and of course Arabic patterns and a lot of lights. For the holiday event for this year, instead of bringing this traditional holiday things, we decided to use a lot of like frost patterns, like snowflakes, decorative lights, and we think that this elements will bring this magical and festive mood to this event.
It absolutely does, and like the space nerd in me is like freaking out just because like I actually like recently started like getting into space a lot more. I saw Jupiter and some moons and stuff with my own eyes. It was insane. So coming to this season and getting just more of that and just like the mysticism and the magic and the wonder from that. I think it is evident throughout this entire season. So again, hats off to the team for being able to kind of just like bring that.